Sure, we all think hate's a problem. We just think their hate's the problem. They're hateful. We're just being reasonable. We're justified. We're righteous. As though hating and dehumanizing entire groups of people, half the country, is ever reasonable or justified. We have a crisis of hate in America today. We have a crisis of hate in America today. And it isn't just because of a handful of haters, few people on the internet or in the White House. We only have a crisis because of all of us. The crisis of hate is caused by all of us. We all hate, maybe more than ever, certainly more publicly than ever, and without abandon. And we need to stop it. We need to stop that other people hate, stop those most extreme iterations of the virus, the monstrous, oppressive, unjust incarnations. We definitely need to do something about that, and we need to stop it in ourselves. The answer to hate isn't more hate, but we'll come to that. You with me so far? So I'm defining hate broadly for a reason. If you explicitly bully someone else because they're gay, that's hate. If you unconsciously think someone is somehow inherently less than you because they're black, that's hate. If your sphere of moral concern excludes mothers in Haiti or workers in Bangladesh because they're not just like you, and therefore treats them as less than human, that's hate too. If you wish evil on those who don't vote for the same candidate as you, that's hate. If you look down on those who don't worship the same God as you, or shop at the same stores as you, or know the same things as you, that's hate. Hate comes in different forms and different degrees. There can be cold hate and hot hate, big hate and little hate. Certainly it can have degrees of implications, from simply deriding the object of your hate to actively avoiding them to trying to obliterate them from the face of the earth. But as I said, it's like a virus. It comes in degrees, and if we do not cure it, it keeps spreading. Now, there's a danger in the virus metaphor, I realize, which is I don't want to suggest for a moment that any of this is natural. It is not. To be clear, what is natural is our evolutionary psychic tendency as human beings to divide the world into in-groups and out-groups. We actually do that. At a very early age, babies will show a preference. They actually do these tests. I kind of don't believe them, but apparently babies can like suck and breathe into machines and indicate what they prefer this way. But whatever, I trust the research. So anyway, the babies apparently puff more to hear the voices of not only their mothers, but people who speak the same language as their mother as opposed to a different language. This is as young as 5 months. There's all kinds of other evidence of this. We prefer our own on an instinctive level. As we get older, our in-groups get solidified based on our life experience and the social cues around us. In other words, that tendency to divide the world into in-groups and out-groups, that's human. That's human nature. But how we divide the world into in-groups and out-groups, who we define as us and who we define as them, we learn that behavior. We aren't born, for instance, ascribing meaning to race. We pick up race as a category and racial hatred because of the world we live in, a world that is steeped in past and present structural racism and bigotry. It is the air around us that we all breathe, and so it is what we exhale, unless we do something about it. And by the way, as I said, that's increasingly the case now, say, with partisanship. I've heard Republicans blast the idea of paid sick leave when Barack Obama talked about doing it. And I've heard Democrats blast the idea of paid sick leave now that Donald Trump is talking about doing it. We don't believe each other's ideas. We don't believe each other's news sources. By the way, we don't increasingly believe that the other side is even well-intentioned. 62% of Republicans say that the Democratic Party makes them feel afraid. And 70% of Democrats say the Republican Party makes them feel afraid. And more than 1 in 10 Democrats and Republicans say they would be unhappy if someone in their own family married someone from the other party. That's just sad. So it's true that as human beings, we have this innate instinct to divide the world into in-groups and out-groups, us versus them. But those groupings aren't hardwired. I can guarantee you there is not a genetic marker for Democrat versus Republican. That's a choice our society makes. We're not born hating Democrats or hating Republicans, let alone born being one, right? That's a society our choice makes and that each of us, consciously or unconsciously, regurgitates or rejects.